Good morning. I'm Randy Horton, Chief Solutions Officer for Orthogonal. We're coming to you from the San Diego Convention Center for AdvaMed's MedTech Conference, which is terrific, by the way. You can't make it to every conference, and even if you can only talk to a fraction of the interesting people at the conference. So what we're doing here with our MedTech Spotlight Live series is curating a set of conversations with really interesting people who are speaking at the conference or attending to bring you some of the best of what's going on here to you at I would say your office, but it's really probably your home office. So we are here with Mark Brennan from Hogan Lovells. Welcome.
Hi, Randy.
So Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career background.
Yeah, happy to. I'm a partner at Hogan Lovells. This is one of the largest global elite law firms that has an extensive medtech and regulatory practice. We have about 2,800 attorneys across the world and operate across all key regions. My full title is Global Managing Partner for Digitalization. And so in addition to my full-time client practice, I also advise internally on our use of AI and digital tools for service delivery. My practice focuses on online services, tech issues, and that interplay with AI, privacy, and other data-centric issues.
Interesting. So you both work on medtech AI issues as well as help the law firm work internally on AI in the practice. Do law firms and lawyers obsess about AI at conferences as much as we do here?
I think so. Increasingly, it's critical for us because our clients are coming to us asking for advice on how to operationalize the new requirements, what's on the road ahead. And one of the best ways that we can stay on top of things is to be at conferences like this and see the new technologies, see the roadmap for new products and services. And it's really exciting for me to be here and just looking around the showroom floor.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'm glad to know that we're not the only ones dealing with these issues all the time. Our favorite new metric is MTAIQ, mean time to AI question conferences. In this case, it's been 45 seconds.
There we go.
Great. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your practice in medtech, a little more in the details of the kinds of things. If you're working on AI and privacy, what kind of things does that entail?
Yeah, so my focus is at the regulatory space where that intersects with government investigations. And so I advise clients that are looking at new legislation and shaping the legislation, thinking through how to apply and interpret some of the requirements. And if there is an inquiry from a regulator, then helping them respond. In the medtech space, we see these issues across the device side, whether it be wireless technologies, data issues, privacy, and increasingly where AI technologies can intersect and complicate all of those issues.
All right, so let's do a pair of questions. First one is, how bad can it get if you go wrong? What can you do really badly if you're a med tech dealing with AI and data stuff, and then conversely, let's talk about how do you avoid that? How do you get on the right path and stay on the right path or know that you're on the right path? So first, tell us a little bit about what's a horror story or two?
Randy, these are great questions. So something that can go wrong, I think, is just watching and taking the mindset that the problems will solve themselves, especially in this area and the evolving landscape we have for tech issues. We see more likely the problems get more complicated and less likely that they will go away. What we're actually seeing is that some of the legacy legal frameworks, so requirements for privacy, requirements for FDA in the US and requirements for other spaces are now starting to get more and more granular, more and more prescriptive, and they're not harmonized across regions. So one of the things that can
regions
go wrong,
being states of the United States or countries or any set of regions?
Yeah, excellent point. All,
Okay.
because we're seeing variation in the U.S. at the state level with different AI legislation and requirements that can impact the sector. We're also seeing deviations between what's expected now in the U.S. versus Europe and other regions. So it's something that, over time, we expect there'll be some emerging trend lines, but ultimately there will need to be action by the company.
Give me an example of what if you don't take it seriously, what kind of hot water could you end up in? Give me an example or two.
Yeah, we are seeing a variety of potential penalties in these different frameworks. civil, and in some instances, criminal
Right.
penalties. Civil can range from financial penalties, forfeitures, but also can involve other types of remedies in terms of taking equipment off the market, prohibitions on future activity, and especially in the AI space, one of the remedies that we're seeing most frequently is what's known as disgorgement or destruction of the model. So having to start from scratch on the AI model that you will have built if you don't take the steps along the way to make sure you're complying with applicable law.
So basically, if the well is poisoned, you got to go get a new well.
Exactly. That has been the trend line for enforcement to
Really?
date. So
Really, that could really hurt.
yeah,
If you're,
yeah.
you're-
And one of the things we often will see is that the business and the legal team will come to us with questions, and there's a sense of urgency. AI issues are top of mind. They're competitively critical for many companies to make sure that they're moving forward with AI technologies in the medtech space. And one of the complications can be that if you're not mindful and thoughtful about what steps really need to be taken now before deployment or at the outset, you risk this issue that over the long run, you may have to start over. And in fact, you may be starting over with one arm tied behind your back with other restrictions.
right. Okay, so all right, you mentioned criminal, so maybe I just watched too many Law and Order episodes. Does that mean like the company can become criminally liable, or like you could be visiting a client in Supermax prison?
The criminal penalties that are in some of the proposals can apply to executives or individuals at the company. Yeah.
Okay. So you really, like when you sign your name on the dotted line, it's not just the company's insurer that needs to worry, like you need to worry.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. So it's something, I mean, and you can see where the intent is deterrence from that activity. So,
Okay.
it's helpful to be thinking through these issues as part of the product pipeline, as part of the strategic efforts as well.
Okay. So let's flip it. Companies that are getting ahead of this and doing well, the ones you don't worry about on your client roster as much, what are some of the traits of what they're doing well?
Yep. I can give a couple examples that tie into the AI space, because that, I think, provides a useful model where it's a relatively newer area for legal attention, legal scrutiny. And so there are a lot of unsettled areas of the law. And as a result, it helps to have people from different areas of expertise looking at the issues, trying to solve the puzzles, if you will. And what we see more and more frequently at companies will be a cross-functional team, including legal, business side, marketing, and others, to be looking at the AI governance, AI policies at the company holistically, and bringing their separate areas of expertise. And then within the legal space, we see lots of input and areas for input from people on the privacy and cyber teams, IP, those who are familiar with internet regulation, and others.
Okay. Interesting. So we work a lot with R&D clients. Do R&D people need to be at the table? Do your heads of engineering need to be at the table? The people who are hands-on?
I think helpful. And so this will depend on the individual company and the culture at the company. But you could see, for example, for a company that has a lot of focus on R&D, you want those individuals to be hearing the discussions. You also want them to be flagging early for the rest of the team what they are thinking and working through what they see as the long-term vision, so that you have a policy and governance around AI, data, privacy that supports the innovation over the long term. Often it's much easier to measure twice, cut once in these areas, and to sort of mix the metaphors to unscramble the egg after.
Okay. So would you recommend, for instance, that a VP of R&D or a VP of engineering go take a 1-semester class somewhere online to like learn some of the basics of this stuff so they can be a little more fluent?
I support everybody's choices in how they want to educate themselves on whatever issues they're trying to learn. I think there is a lot of value in making sure there's sufficient briefings up at the company as well as out. And there are different types of briefings. This is something that we work regularly with clients on. But one of the things that we saw that was very helpful to boards over the last decade has been regular briefings on cybersecurity issues, threats, opportunities for new best practices. And similarly now we're seeing that attention placed on AI and other data issues. So making sure that your board, your leadership team is regularly briefed, and then providing those opportunities for individuals to educate themselves further if they want.
Very good. All right. So you're speaking later today. What topic are you talking about?
I'm going to be covering trends across the medtech space on privacy, AI, and big data.
Very good. Very good. Well, thanks a lot for coming out and have a great rest of your conference.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Take care.